Welcome to what promises to be a very exotic edition of Escape to the Country, because today you find me surrounded by a Himalayan garden. But I haven't travelled to the foothills of those famous mountains in order to find it. They, of course, are thousands of miles away. So where have I come to experience this slice of Asian paradise? Well, join me in just a few moments and I'll tell you. On today's show, the road to finding the perfect home for our house hunters is a bumpy one.
We're not growing, are we? It's not sticking.
Desperately trying, desperately trying.
But I do love a challenge, especially if I have some aces to play.
I can see myself living here, Mark.
That's what I was waiting to hear.
So that's just the kitchen and we're moving in.
Well, today we are in Conway in North Wales, and this is the Himalayan garden at the heart of the world-famous Bodnant Gardens. Now, although the gardens here were laid out back in the 1880s, this is the first time that this particular part of the garden has been open to the public. And as you can see, it is packed with some beautiful and actually quite rare plant species, many of them brought here by intrepid 19th century plant hunters who went out scouring the world, feeding the Victorian obsession for exotic gardening. Now, later on in the show, I'll be back here exploring all that Bodnant has to offer. But take it from me, this really is a jewel in the crown of North Wales. Today's house hunt takes place in the counties of Conway and Gwynedd up in the north of Wales. They are home to the Snowdonia National Park, the third largest national park in the UK. Established in 1951, it covers a massive 800 square miles and is dominated by the highest peak in England and Wales, Mount Snowdon. At 1,085 metres high, it's a popular climb, but for those wanting the view without the trek, there's been a train running to and from the summit since 1896. Outside of the park, this region also has a coastal history. The harbour town of Bodnant was once a busy port used to ferry Welsh slate from the nearby mining town of Blaenau Ffestiniog, all over the globe. When the industry declined, the famous railway line which brought the slate to the coast was saved and the steam train restored, and it's now a huge tourist attraction. It really is a spectacular region to visit, and for those lucky enough, one to live in too. Now, when it comes to property prices here in North Wales, there is some good news, because despite beautiful backdrops like that, things are remarkably affordable. In the case of your average detached, well, here you could pay over £85,000 less than the national figure. And that's despite hotspots, particularly within the borders of the Snowdonia National Park itself. There you could pay a bit of a premium, step outside the park, and your money will certainly go that little bit further. Now, as a landscape for me, this has always sold itself. But let's now meet today's buyers and find out why they think this part of the world could be their new home. Our house hunters today are Mark, a retired car designer, and his wife Biddig, an NHS manager who currently live in the town of Southend, Essex. They got together 10 years ago.
We met in Italy on a skiing holiday, and then we both got onto separate coaches and went our own ways, and then we bumped into each other, didn't we, in a bar
Sure.
a couple of nights later.
It's fate, destined to meet.
We got married in Snowdonia National Park, and we had our wedding breakfast on the Blaenau Ffestiniog railway. I managed to hire a carriage and they decorated it. Yeah, it was a good start to our marriage, wasn't it?
The strong ties to Wales originally came from Biddig.
I was born in Wales. I lived there till I was, gone 21. I think about Snowdonia, it's memories from home. I've gone back with Mark and his family, and it's just such a wonderful place to be, and such a wonderful countryside. How could anybody not want to live there?
And it's a far cry from their current home in Southend.
Well, I'm in Southend. We've lived here for nearly 10 years. For us, while we're working, the South East is a particularly good place for employment. But we find now that because we are getting older and we're slowing down, we want a slower pace of life. And if we can start a small business ourselves and work together, we think that's what that will give us.
And the small business they'd like to take on together would be in hospitality.
We'd like to get a place with maybe a couple of cottages on so we can do holiday lets, or if we saw a particularly nice house in a particularly nice area with the other criteria, maybe even bed and breakfast.
They've spent the last 9 years getting their current home the way they want it, but are very flexible about the style of any new property.
We just want some space inside, but we don't need a big house. And I think my benchmark, I've always said, as long as I can't poke the fire by sitting in the settee, and there's enough space for that'll be fine.
And Mark has some conditions too, which come from his passion for motors.
I have a classic car collection from sort of 1976 up to 2000. And a number of motorcycles. I tend to buy cars that engines are broken, and then I bring them back to life. Bithig's concern is the house, and really my main concern is the garage.
And there are other activities they'd like to continue as a couple.
We love dancing. Started a number of years ago and we haven't been able to stop. We're going to learn to jive, and then from jiving we've sort of got caught into doing a number of other dances. Recently taken up Argentine tango, which is great fun. So definitely when we move to Wales, I want to continue that.
With their house under offer, the move will bring to fruition a long-held dream to be living in the Welsh countryside.
We've talked about it for a long time, from when we've holidayed years ago, and we've stayed in some lovely houses, and we've always said it would be smashing to have a house like this, and hopefully that's what we'll end up with now, you know, something where you wake up and you look out of each window and there's a view. That's what we really want, isn't it?
Mark and Bithig are looking to move to their cherished North Wales, and in particular the Snowdonia National Park, which provides some of the finest scenery in the UK. But first, I need to find out a little more. Well, Mark, Bithig, welcome back to Snowdonia.
Yes, thank you.
Look at it, there it is, shrouded in cloud, a bit of sunshine.
It's stunning scenery, and every road you drive round, you're hit with just a spectacular view.
But this is kind of coming home for you, isn't it?
It is coming home. It's where we holidayed for years, and it's home for me, Wales.
Big smile,
I
isn't
know.
it?
Well, we talked about it for so long, and now I feel like we are actually taking those steps. Fantastic, can't wait.
And the house that you have in mind, is it your classic stone-built North Walian cottage?
I'm not so fussed about what it looks like on the outside, I don't think. In fact, I would, you could give me a tent parked somewhere like this with nice grounds and I wouldn't care what the house looked like, to be honest.
You ought to be careful what you wish for. That's quite interesting.
First of all, yes, thinking typically stone-built Welsh cottage, you know, that maybe needs some work. We're quite keen to put our own stamp on wherever we live, really. I'm not one for sitting still, so a project wouldn't frighten us.
It doesn't have to be old, it doesn't have to be new, but it does have to have somewhere for 6 cars.
4 motorbikes.
4 motorbikes.
Oh, and possibly an income.
Now, let's talk about the income, because this is where the budget gets a little bit challenged, doesn't it? You've got ideally 400,000, but you would be prepared to go to maybe 450.
Sure.
You're thinking holiday lets?
Thinking holiday lets, or potentially bed and breakfast. We wouldn't mind a small bed and breakfast, but something that then I could give at work and we could be together and have our own little business working from home. We don't need a big house, do we? But we've got used to having space, so we do want space, and I like the idea of a big kitchen family room.
Yeah.
That's the hub of the house where we were before, so that's what we want, a nice big kitchen.
And how many bedrooms?
3, 4.
3.
Let's see what we can find. You've got 3 properties lined up, one of which is our mystery house, which is really interesting, I think.
Great.
Right,
Can't wait.
Let's get to property 1. Come on.
Fantastic.
So for a maximum budget of £450,000, our buyers are looking for a traditional Welsh property with 3 to 4 bedrooms, a large farmhouse kitchen for Bithig, and space to build a garage for Mark's motor collection. They're seeking some kind of holiday business potential and are happy to take on some remodelling work. We've uncovered 3 excellent options which are all set in stunning scenery. With each property, I won't be revealing how much they're on the market for until after our house tour. Our final offering, of course, is the mystery house, which gives our house hunters something they won't have been expecting. Now, have you ever run a B&B or a holiday let business before?
No, but we're not frightened of hard work, and we know it's going to be hard work.
Yeah.
We've been working for ourselves, so we like the idea of that. And I say it's my hiraeth, you know, you just can't...
Hiraeth is a really good word. I was talking about this the other day to somebody, this sense of homecoming. And it's a really romantic yearning for Wales and the mountains.
Yeah, it's really interesting, the hiraeth. So you've got plenty of hiraeth.
I've got them full of here.
Homecoming.
To kick off our Welsh house hunt, we're starting within the eastern boundaries of the Snowdonia National Park and the town of Bala. It's a small, historic market town with shops, restaurants and amenities for residents and visitors alike. In season, the area attracts tourists who use Bala and the surrounding villages as a base to explore the scenic Welsh countryside. 4 miles from Bala itself and in an area of outstanding natural beauty is our first property.
Right then, this is our number one. We've gone for the traditional, classic Welsh stone.
Yeah.
And these are some stones. Look at them.
Yeah.
Absolutely enormous. And of course, it has that outbuilding, which I think comfortably is at least 2 holiday lets. Needs a bit of work.
Needs a bit of work. Yeah,
But we have thought about that.
Yep, yeah.
OK.
Yep.
I like the look of the house. I really like the look of the house.
yeah.
The scenery is fantastic. I love where it is. I'm just conscious I think I can hear the road. I don't want to be negative, I'm sorry, but I think I can hear the road.
There's a little hum
Yeah.
in the distance.
Yeah.
But then that's where the business comes from. I
Yes.
suppose.
No, that's
Yes,
right, and
yes.
I'm forgetting that. We don't want to be somewhere that's so isolated that people can't get to you. So, yeah, OK, I'll go with that. Yeah, let's look.
Shall we?
Let's look.
Come on then.
So the road in the distance has raised a concern, but this traditional 300-year-old Welsh stone cottage set in 6 acres of countryside is a classic Snowdonian retreat and is currently used as a holiday property. But will the inside entice them anymore?
Follow me in, Bydig. Let's start with the living room.
Nice feature beams, lovely.
Yeah.
Ooh, bit quieter than I was expecting from your
Yeah.
response.
Like the stone.
I think we've come from a sort of quite a large house, so the initial reaction, is the reason why I'm slightly subdued.
One of my criteria was I didn't want to be able to sit on my settee and poke the fire. And it's nice, it's cosy and it's warm, but it seems small.
Let it grow.
Yeah,
Yes.
Let it grow. Come into the kitchen.
Having said they don't want a big house, it does seem like size is important. Luckily, this house can deliver on Bydig's desire for a good farmhouse kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That's a family-sized
Yeah.
kitchen.
The kitchen, you could happily start again with this, I think, and update it.
But as a space, the kitchen, I don't dislike it at all.
Yes.
And the floor. I mean, that's a Welsh floor, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Got a.
I can see another room in there.
There's a little sort of utility area through there, and there's also another room downstairs which they've got currently as a room with bunk beds in. Yeah? Let's go up.
This downstairs 4th bedroom could be turned into a further living space as there are 3 bedrooms upstairs. One currently is used as a twin, another a reasonable double, and finally, the principal bedroom.
This is the one that we're saying is the master, just because it is the biggest. Surprisingly big, actually, given the vaulted ceiling.
Yeah, and I think after downstairs, it's bigger than what I imagined. But yeah, that's OK.
Family bathroom across the landing. We're not growing, are we? It's not sticking.
Desperately trying. Desperately trying.
When you said 3 bedrooms upstairs, I imagined, oh gosh, they're going to be really, really small. But they're not, and it's spacious, and I like the space. I'm not sure. Perhaps we need to just walk around a bit more.
Come on, let's go and have a look
Yeah.
at the outside and see what you make of that.
The cottagey dimensions don't seem to be appealing to Mark and Bydig, but I'm not giving up yet. There is a large outbuilding to explore, which could throw up some interesting options.
So let's get our creative hats
Head
on. And look at this. Now, as you can see, it does need a little bit of sorting out.
TLC.
I mean, I look at this and think, the walls are all good.
Yeah, it's a usable space for sure.
It's certainly big enough for 2 very comfortable lets.
Or maybe let the cottage and have this as your living accommodation.
What is the view through there? I can't see anything. What?
Well, it's pretty overgrown at the moment, but 2 of your 6 acres, more or less, are in that direction. So, you could give yourselves your own view.
I'm liking the idea of living in here.
Yeah.
Nice open kitchen, dining room, nice views, little wood burner in the side, yeah. Just wondering how long it's going to take and when can we start?
Well, let's think about the money first. Come on, let's find somewhere for a chat.
As there is planning permission to convert this barn into a 2 to 3 bedroom dwelling, Mark and Bydig are finally seeing this as a good prospect, but it does all depend on the price.
So, you wanted a view.
We got a view,
we've got
didn't
a
we?
view. I think it's got more potential than when we first rolled up earlier on. I would want to develop the barn to live in and maybe rent the cottage out. There's plenty of space for cars.
Well, all that's going to depend, of course, on the price.
Sure.
Yes.
So, make me an offer, Debbie, for property number 1.
OK, it's a lot of land. And potentially you've got 2 buildings, but you can't count that as a building yet. So I don't even think 300, 280, 290? No, I don't know.
I wouldn't want to pay over 300,000 for it, so around sub 300, 295, something like that.
That's what I would be looking to pay for it too, because it's on the market at £295,000. So there's 150 potentially left over, and of course it's open to offers.
Sure.
So it's well under budget.
I might be liking you more.
Money talks, isn't it? Yeah. The sun is shining. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to wander around at your leisure.
Excellent.
Go on then. Off you go.
Excellent.
I'll catch up with you a little bit later on.
With £150,000 worth of change from their maximum budget, this traditional Welsh stone cottage could offer them 2 options. The first, a 4-bedroom home with a barn to be converted into holiday lets, or a barn to be developed into a home for Mark and Bithig with a ready-made holiday cottage alongside. And there is space to build a garage for Mark's cars.
I like the outside look of the house. Traditionally, what you'd imagine for a Welsh property, Welsh country cottage. The space inside the house, I like. I think it's nice as a holiday home, but I think to live in permanently, I think it's just a little bit too small.
I mean, it is traditional, oldie-worldy type cottage. My initial thoughts were that's what we probably wanted. I'm not 100% sure on that now. Looking round, looking at the land, the potential of the barn and the possibility of letting out the cottage becomes a better proposition.
All done?
All done.
Very good. Well, an uphill climb with this one in many respects, but 295.
295 and open for offers.
Worth thinking about.
Yeah, potential.
Come on.
As our buyers are keen dancers and want to continue their hobby when they move to Wales, we've arranged for them to experience more North Walian culture by learning a traditional dance. We're sending them to the now disused slate quarry of Dinorwic in the shadow of Elidia Mountain. All will be revealed by folk dancer Idwal Williams.
Croeso, welcome to the National Welsh Slate Museum in Llanberis. Now, the reason I'm here is because one of the things that the slate quarry workers would do over time would clog.
What's the history behind Welsh clogging?
Well, the workers here, some were local, but some came from Anglesey, and they'd have to stay in the barracks. They would entertain themselves. Part of the entertainment would be singing, part would be actually reciting, telling stories, but they also clogged. Not every night, of course, because it was hard work up in these quarries.
Was it for everyone, the clog dancing, or just the quarry folk?
No, it was for everybody. The local farm workers would do it as well. It would be used for competitions in the local fairs. Are you ready to go in and see what we've got?
Yes, come on, let's.
The miners would have worn wooden shoes with a horseshoe nailed into the bottom to add grip and were known to dance on the slate in these clogs. Clog dancing is now a firmly established Welsh tradition at the world-famous Eisteddfod Cultural Festival. Idwal and his wife Bethan have been folk dancing for 40 years and will be taking Mark and Bithig through their paces.
We'll start with a basic strut.
The clogs are used musically. Striking the heel and toe against the floor adds percussion to the dance.
That's the simple part. We're going to go.
Oh, lovely.
So that's what I would call a shuffle that comes after the basic heel toe.
Shall we just do a scissors?
Yes, yes.
Right.
Oh.
So we need to start with our feet. And then we're going to cross. And apart. And cross behind. And apart. So shall we put the sequence together, all of it with the music? That would be quite nice. So we'll put the scissors in at the end and do it all together. Shuffle. Skips back. Scissors. Well done.
We got a nice click there, didn't we?
Close.
Bethan, your frock's fantastic. Is that traditional?
Yes, it is traditional.
And the harp and the fiddle, are they traditional instruments as well?
They are. They're what you would have used in Wales for the last 300-400 years.
Guys, how about you showing us how it's really done?
Oh,
Well, we've got a little sequence that we put together, so we're going to try it off for you.
Gosh, well done, guys.
Well, having taken their first steps in Welsh clogging, it's time to point those feet back to the house hunt, as we've got plenty more to see. For our next property, we're heading to the western edge of the Snowdonia National Park, to the pretty village of Bethgelert. Set in a beautiful valley with the River Colwyn flowing through, in holiday season it's a tourist hotspot. There are classic stone buildings, a picturesque bridge and dramatic mountain scenery as a backdrop. 10 minutes from Bethgelert, in a secluded valley running along the Dulfriog Woods, is the appealing location of our second property.
Well, chaps, property number 2. I'm very excited about this one because, as you can probably see, this is a different proposition entirely to property number 1.
I'm excited. And we've not seen the property.
Well, there was a slight road issue with property number 1. How quiet is this?
yes.
Nice,
Yeah,
yeah,
this
lovely.
is
You can
this
hear the
is
river.
this is more like it.
You've got 14 acres here. Yeah, 14 acres, a series of outbuildings. I think this could be a real solution. There you are, I've stuck my neck out.
Yes.
But I'm really excited about this one. Come on.
The setting here is one of this property's major draws and would be tempting to holidaymakers. At the heart of it is this single-storey converted barn.
There. Now, I suppose technically this is the back of it, but I think this really gives you a sense of what's on offer, this kind of U-shape. Basically, kitchen diner there, living rooms and so forth, and then into master suite at that end.
OK.
What do you think, Bethy?
I don't know. It looks narrow, but I need to get inside. I want to get inside and have a look. I love the space it's in. It's fantastic. I need to see more. I want to see more.
This is more exciting, Mark,
Yes,
isn't
yeah,
it?
this is exciting. There's potential here straight away. You can see it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Let's see what you think of the inside. Come on.
Cool.
Well, a better start this time, but Bithig is still worried about internal space in this 3-bedroom property. But I think her fears will vanish once we get inside.
So what about this then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's more like
Yeah, I
it.
like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a sizable room, isn't it? That's it, more usable.
Yeah, that's
Usable kitchen.
what I like. Kitchen, somewhere to sit when you're cooking. Lovely.
It's just a totally different scenario from the cottage.
It is indeed.
There's no doubt about it.
Look at your face. This is brilliant.
I can see myself living here. Mark.
That's what I was waiting to hear.
So that's just the kitchen, and we're moving in.
You're moving in already. Well, let's see if we can keep it going. Have a look at this. This is the living room. I think you might like this too, actually.
Yeah, you come in. It feels like home. It feels nice.
Yeah.
It feels open.
The wheels are turning, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, absolutely.
In a good way.
Yeah, for sure.
There is a family bathroom and currently 3 bedrooms, but a slightly unconventional layout makes it ripe for remodelling. There's one standalone double room and the other 2 bedrooms are adjoined.
Now, technically, this is bedroom 2 of 3, but they use it as a sort of annex to the master bedroom, which is through there, giving you something of a sort of, I don't know, your own little sitting room or dressing room or whatever. Is it better and bigger than you thought?
Yes. I did worry outside. Oh gosh, it's another small place again. And we don't need a big house, but I just don't want to feel like I'm in a small place. Yeah, so I like the space.
There you go.
My initial thought is this could come out
Yeah.
and make a a really nice ensuite.
I wonder. Lots of thoughts. This is good. There's a lot more constructive thinking going on here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's outside, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the holiday lets we really need to explore. You see, you've forgotten all about it.
Yeah.
You got sucked into just buying a home.
Yeah, one of us has.
So the inside of this house delivers everything Bithig had asked for, and I'm hoping outside will be just as positive for Mark.
So, 14 acres you know about. and, of course, these outbuildings. Now, I think these are quite interesting. This one here has had a bit of work done on it. Roof's very sound, floor's been done. Obviously needs to be finished to a domestic spec. I would say probably a one-bedroom let.
Yes.
That one is currently a stable block and is a bit bigger, and I think that would probably do on its own. But the nice thing is you've got these two very independent buildings which have their own space and they're separate from you in the main house.
Yeah.
Back down the drive, and they both really milk that view.
I don't think I'm quite taking it all in, just how much land there is. There's a lot of land.
What's it worth then?
Oh, gosh.
Gosh.
I'm saying top budget, is it 400? Is it that much?
Is it 400? Mark?
I'd like to thinking of our budget, around about 350.
It's only been on the market 4 weeks, but it's on the market for 430,000.
Yeah.
All right. I wish it were 350, mate.
Yeah,
But I think, bearing in mind we are right in the heart of the park.
Yeah, there's a lot
I'm
of
not
land.
surprised you've said that, but I'm in my head. Obviously, I've got our budget, and to manufacture 2 holiday lets out of the properties that we've got is going to be a big chunk.
But it's worth thinking about. And of course, like anything, it's open to offers. But in the meantime, go and explore these outbuildings, see what might be needed, and see if you can make it work.
Sure.
Off you go.
Thanks.
I'll catch you later.
Dipping £30,000 into their contingency fund, this converted barn gives Mark and Bithig the big, sociable kitchen they're after, good outbuildings to make some spectacular independent holiday lets from, and plenty of room for a garage as it's all set in 14 acres of magnificent Welsh scenery.
Oh, nice slate floor.
Looks like it's watertight as well.
Could you not just put like a mezzanine in with just the bed? No?
Studio
Type.
apartment, maybe, with the stunning views outside.
First thoughts, to be honest, I wasn't sure, but once we got inside, I really liked it. I liked the kitchen, the size of it, the feel of space, the lights in the windows, and I think the business potential here is more than we thought of, and I think we'd really need to look at that and how we're going to manage that.
It's a big project. There is a huge amount of land out of there. Outbuildings would want a lot of money spending on them, but a great place, and I think a lot of talking tonight with Bithig and myself.
Where have they got to? There are certainly plenty of places to get lost around here. Hello!
Hello!
Where are you? Ah!
We're here.
How'd you come? What do you think of this one, then?
It's a big plot of land. It's a very exciting prospect.
Lot to see.
Good day.
Lots to think about. I think our day is finished on a high.
On a high, definitely.
Let's go celebrate. Come on.
Cool.
Excellent.
It's the second day of our house hunt with Mark and Bithig, who are swapping a hectic life in Southend, Essex, for a house and holiday rental business in Snowdonia in North Wales, with a budget of £450,000. Coming up, the house hunt continues to be a challenge.
You are a conundrum to me.
Yeah, get used to it.
And I visit one of the region's hidden treasures.
Well, of course, it is now our final day of house hunting, and we have one more property to see. But today is going to be something of a first for Escape to the Country. Because when you think about the breadth and depth of the housing market, it shouldn't be surprising that there may just be an occasion when, having shown a property to one set of buyers, we might also think that it's relevant to another set. And that is what is about to happen, because although our mystery house is just that, a mystery to Mark and to Bithig, it's not to me, because I've been there before.
For our final property, I'm taking Mark and Bithig outside of the national park to the village of Carno. Officially in mid-Wales, it's just 20 minutes from the park boundary, but a world away in terms of affordability. There's a local church here, a pub, and it's still set in the kind of rural Welsh landscape they're after. A 5-minute drive from the village and set down a small country road is our mystery house, which I have high hopes for.
Well, here we are at last, our mystery house.
Mystery house.
Yeah, initially I like the look of it. As you
Good.
approach it, I like the look of it. It's symmetrical.
It's a really pretty cottage, this. Very, very cosy. But the reason we're here, well, there are many factors at play. We've come out of the park to get you that bit more for your money. Here, they have 2 holiday lets that are ready to go.
Okay.
It's a turnkey business, this. What's more, this isn't the first time we've shown this property on Escape to the Country. Because we were here about 3 years ago and we'd sold it.
Oh, right.
But unfortunately, the deal fell through. So I'm going to turn the tour on its head slightly. We'll come back to the cottage in a minute. But let's deal with the lets and the business end and see if that whets your appetite for what might be the future.
A converted barn screened from the main house by a hedgerow offers 2 generously sized holiday lets.
And these are huge. Both of these lets have 2 double bedrooms each. One there, all right? And then this is rather nice, the kind of living room and diner, as it were. Quite a nicely pointed kitchen through there. What would you think if you came on holiday to this?
I think if you're here on your holidays for a week, it's very nice, isn't it? It's nice and clean, it's open, I like the wooden floor.
This is just one.
This is just one, yeah. The next one is upstairs.
Needing no major work, I think these are definitely piquing Mark and Bithig's interest.
Oh, wow.
So this one is, again, an exact duplicate, really, of what's below. And then in here, once again, your living diner.
It's very nice, isn't it? Spacious.
So you're smiling quite nicely at the moment.
You're winning. You're winning.
I'm starting to like it, and I didn't want to like it. I'm out of North Wales. I'm out of my comfort zone.
I like it. And we haven't seen the cottage yet.
The plan is working. Come on.
There's a third unfinished space to this barn, which currently houses a workshop and office. But the main property is a handsome 3-bedroom traditional stone farmhouse.
Now, this has a very different kind of feel, I think, to the holiday lets.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's welcoming, isn't it?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's nice, it's nice. I'm struggling because it's not where I want it to be.
It's out of North Wales at the moment, that's all it is.
There's also a large connecting room which is currently used as a dining space.
And then leading off the dining room is the kitchen. Now, I know what you're going to say.
OK.
It's not the big farmhouse kitchen I know you've been talking about.
Yeah.
In that
This
respect.
isn't small.
No, it's not small.
It's a kind of big galley kitchen, I suppose.
Yeah. I like it better than the other one as well, than house number 2. I do. I like the kitchen better than house number 2.
Do you?
Yes.
Wow.
This is...
You are a conundrum to me.
Before.
Get used to it.
Yeah, well, I am getting used to it. Let's have a look upstairs.
Off the kitchen, there's a utility room and WC, which completes the rooms on the ground floor. Upstairs, there is a particularly large family bathroom, 2 good-sized doubles, and then the master bedroom.
Now, this, we're saying, is the master. It's by far the biggest. It's got lots of storage.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. It sort of stretches a bit cupboard space, yeah.
It's big.
But
It's a big room. There's
yeah,
no
it's a
two
big
ways
room.
about
There's
it.
plenty of room on either side of the bed. You know, there's plenty length. Our bed's bigger than that, perhaps, but it's still big enough, isn't it?
Now, I remember at Property One, the price, when it was revealed, did make
Yeah.
quite a difference
Quite
to
a
your
difference.
thinking. Let's go outside and talk numbers.
Oh,
Yeah? Go on then. After you.
The garden is a relatively modest ½ an acre, but the plot is surrounded by glorious countryside.
Let's think about the price then, Bithig.
Now I'm worried now because I wasn't sure I liked it at first, and now I think I might like it, and now I'm frightened I might not like the price.
So, you've got £450,000 for the right thing. What's our mystery house worth then?
I think because it's got the up and running business already, I think we're looking near the top of our budget. I think we're looking at 430.
430, yeah?
I'm of the same opinion. It's an up and running business. I think it's over 400 for sure.
If it was around the 400 mark, would it be interesting?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say it would be very interesting if it was on the market for £369,999. That's 80,000 under budget.
Yeah.
And it's ready to go.
It's a new car, Jules.
That's not a new car, Mark. That gives you the money to get a website up and running, get that third holiday let up and running.
Well, go and have a look around, think about what that offer might be, and just imagine what you might do with the spare cash to get this into the kind of business you want it to be in a hurry.
That's not a new
Go on
car,
then.
come on.
off you go. It's not a new car. That's an argument that's going to go on and on and on. Now, very unusually, as I said when we arrived, we have seen this property before on Escape to the Country. We very nearly sold it then. Can we sell it again, I wonder? We might.
For well under their top budget of £450,000, this is a fantastic prospect. On offer is a generous 3-bedroom main house, 2 large and ready-to-go holiday lets, views to fantastic rural scenery, and just about enough land to house Mark's vehicles. But can they get their heads around being located that little bit further south?
Gosh.
Oh, wow. This is good.
OK, some space, isn't there? It's proper
It's a
walls.
fair size.
What would you do? Kitchen?
All this stuff out of it. Kitchen diner, or kitchen lounge.
Yeah. OK.
I think it's OK. I think it's good. I'm excited.
My initial thoughts with this mystery house were that I didn't want to get out of the car. I felt that we'd driven too far away from where I felt I wanted to be, which was North Wales. Possibly I've been proven wrong, because the holiday lets are just fantastic.
I think what's really turned my opinion is the fact is a budget. It's at our lower end of budget, and the fact that Bithig and I can be here together a lot quicker.
Well, it's certainly on the possibility list. I think of the 3 properties we've seen, this is the one that we would want to look at again.
Bithig, Mark, look at you, 2 happier house hunters, I think.
Happier
Absolutely.
now.
Very happy. Very excited.
Wow, look, 2 properties really here, and what a price.
Yeah. There's a lot of room for thought and a lot of room for what you can do here for that.
Well, let's go and think about it. Come on.
Let's.
Set in the hilly and wooded countryside of the Conway Valley lies one of the UK's most treasured gardens. The Bodnant garden was created in 1874 when industrialist Henry Pochin, who found fame and fortune in soap, bought the estate and began with Victorian zeal to plant a garden filled with new and fascinating species. 140 years on, and I'm meeting garden supervisor Bill Worrell to examine this horticultural gem.
What a beautiful garden.
Yes,
I mean,
fantastic.
this is just such a good setting, isn't it?
Well, you're seeing it on an absolutely fantastic day.
Tell us the story.
Well, the family moved here in 1874 and they started developing the garden really from there. And the terraces here were built between 1904 and 1914.
So they really set about capturing that view of the Canada, didn't they?
Yes, this is the absolute archetypal borrowed landscape. So you've got the wonderful landscape within the garden, but then it borrows from the fantastic mountains just over there.
Now, you've got this rather exotic Himalayan garden, I understand.
Absolutely, it was sort of put together in the 1880s, so the first time in 130 years people can actually see it. It's full of wonderful rhododendrons, magnolias, azaleas. We're just really excited people can now see it.
The rugged environment of Snowdonia proved to be well suited to many Asian plants, particularly Himalayan examples like rhododendrons.
Well, Bill, this is an absolute picture. What is it?
This is a rhododendron called pink diamond.
Wow.
These wonderful big pale pink blooms, which are absolutely huge. And then, of course, it has lovely scent as well.
I've never seen one like this before. if I'm
Yeah, it's
honest.
great.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's a
wonderful.
really soft but rich smell, isn't it?
Fantastic.
It has a certain exoticism and a certain sense of the tropical down here, bizarrely.
You've got this wonderful mature canopy with the mature trees like your oaks and your ash and your sycamore.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got exotics like your American skunk cabbage underneath, which is the rather aromatic, shall we say, large leaf plant over there.
I was going to say, is that what I can smell? There is the
It
most
is.
astonishing smell here today.
Absolutely, and that's beloved of bears. They get up and, in the spring, and that's their favourite snack when they wake up after hibernation.
Many of the rare species at Bodnant were gathered on daring expeditions down Chinese gorges and up to the Himalayan mountaintops in the early 1900s by famous plant hunters George Forrest and Frank Kingdom Ward.
Now, is there any of the planting here that's original from those days, from
Yes.
seeds that were brought back by those expeditions?
We think that this wonderful large rhododendron, which is huge for a rhododendron, was grown from seed from one of those expeditions from either Forrest or Kingdom Ward.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, a wonderful thing.
And now, for the first time this year, it's open to the general public. You must be very excited.
Yeah, we're delighted. We think the paths were laid down in the 1880s, and of course the public really haven't been able to see it until now, so it's great.
Now, the work of opening up the remaining 80 acres of Bodnant is ongoing.
It is indeed. We've got another 10 acres down the bottom of the garden, the far end. I'd love to show you that.
Let's go.
A team of gardeners and dedicated volunteers are working hard to get this next area ready for the first visitors.
Well, Bill, you really have kept the best of us for me. I just love a water feature, and this is beautiful.
We're standing next to the skating pond, which, of course, people used to skate on in days gone by.
Hard to imagine on a day like today.
And it's gorgeous. It did really freeze very hard. Was it 3 years ago, 2010, with that winter?
And what do you think old Henry Poachin would have made of the garden now, 140 years on, from when he first laid it out?
I think he wouldn't recognise it, but I think he'd absolutely love it.
And I would have to agree. And hopefully, treasures like this will be on the doorstep for our house hunters very soon.
Well, we have certainly covered some miles this week here in Wales, trying to find Beddig and Mark their home for the future. And I am crossing everything that we might just have done it. So, you two, we've given you some time to think about everything we've had the chance to show you. We came out here looking for a home and a business. Have we managed to get there with our properties?
Well, I think we have, haven't we?
Yeah.
Unbelievably, I think you have.
Oh, ye of little faith. It was an interesting route that we took,
Yes.
both in terms of geography and emotion, I think. So then, let's cut to the quick. When we arrived at our mystery house, you did seem quite reticent, if I'm honest, despite the veneer of optimism that you brought to the day. But at some point, your mood completely changed. When was that?
Well, I didn't like it initially because of where it was. We were driving to Mid Wales and that wasn't where I wanted to be. That said, I think seeing the holiday accommodation all set up, ready to go, that has swayed me because that's what we want. We want a business that we can work on together, and that gives us that. They're ready now, ready to go.
You've obviously had time to let it sink in and consider the options. A sea change in many respects from where you thought you wanted to be, but it still offers you some really interesting possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. I have realised that we were probably stretching our budget to have an up and running business, but we're not in outer Mongolia. We're a few miles out of the national park. The mystery property has jumped right into our box.
So what happens next then?
We are going to go away. We're going to have a serious think, but my gut reaction is that this is the property that we would probably make an offer on.
Well, best of luck to you two.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Now, of course, we started up north in the mountains of Snowdonia and we've ended up here in the heart of mid Wales. But I think that's OK. Throughout our search, Beddig in particular has talked about that lovely Welsh word, hiraeth, homecoming, a longing for Wales. Well, now, with any luck, we've found her a home in which she can remain. I'll see you next time.
If you would like to escape to the country in Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland or England and would like our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.